enjoy, enjoy. Serving some amazing local bass here at Google. This is a frank experience. Tech companies are known for treating their employees amazing, especially when it comes to food. Here at Google, it's pretty much the gold standard. The New York City Google campus has more than 8,000 employees, and they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner free of charge every day. Chef Julian.
Hi, Chef. How
Good
are
to
you?
see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much for having us. You hear tales about companies like Google and the food operation. And
We operate about 10 cafes here in New York. So, we feed about 9,000 employees a day. This is where the magic happens, right? At Highline, we feed about 1,500 people a day. We also have a grab and go program, so the Googler can, if they're in a hurry, they can come and get something really quick to eat.
How many cooks work under you?
There's about 450 that are on the Google food team in New York City.
And how many meals would you say you guys are producing a week?
We do breakfast, lunch, and dinner on a daily basis. We're doing about 20 to 25,000 meals.
20,000 meals a day, that's insane. What are you ordering the most of?
It's a mix, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we do focus, on the vegetables, purchasing all different types of seasonal vegetables. In just one particular cafe, on a daily basis, I'm purchasing 800 pounds of chicken, just for that particular cafe.
So Chef, we're gonna do some cooking today?
Yes, we are. We're actually gonna go to one of our action stations and cook something super delicious, something that's very seasonal. We're doing butter squash noodles with a lobster mushroom bolognese.
So is it actually lobster or is it only lobster mushrooms?
No, lobster mushrooms. They call them lobster mushrooms because of the color.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorite mushrooms because they're meaty.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you that it tastes like lobster.
But
It has
it's
that
a play on
meaty
the
flavor.
words too, a little bit, yeah.
So now, let's start making the sauce. So we're going to go over here to the stove and you're going to grab a little bit of olive oil. Okay, we're going to saute some onions, some garlic, and some of these lobster mushrooms.
This is the base of every great sauce.
Exactly, that's it, right? Onions and garlic and a little bit of olive oil.
And with the mushrooms?
Yes.
Go right in with all of them?
Just going right over them.
I can't wait to smell this. So what do we got here, Chef?
So here we have our butternut squash noodles. Look how beautiful that is.
How do you get the butternut squash to that?
We actually have a special machine that we actually just put the butternut squash and the blade will go, and then you get a beautiful noodle like that, yeah. So we're gonna add our butternut squash noodles into our hot bath.
Food is obviously a very powerful thing. I mean, we know that working in the industry. What does it mean to kind of serve like a family meal to the employees? Does it help with the culture here?
If you really think about it, it started all 20 years ago. The Google team decided that how do you come up with innovations? How do you come up with ideas? And they started this really small lunch program where they would get 50, 60 employees to come into the dining room and eat at the same time, just like we do in restaurants as family meals. And that's how ideas started coming together. 20 years later, here we are feeding 8,000 people every single day. And this is just in New York, not including all the other cities that we have. Food is a really huge part of our culture.
We're gonna add a couple of ladles of this Mornay. We're gonna hit it with a little bit of the sauce that's kind of been sitting and marinating, and I'm sure has really nice flavor. And then we're gonna go right in with the butternut squash noodles. Was the ratio looking good to you? Looks good to me.
I think it looks great. It looks fantastic. And then when you do it
do the linguine
yeah.
technique. Take it and spin. And I'm gonna try not to break these. I'm gonna try to make Chef proud of me here. Chef, am I doing a disaster
You're doing a great job. Look at that. Oh my God, that looks so delicious. He's doing great. Look at that. Even the twirl's perfect. Now that's a true New Yorker, by the way.
We have it plated up, but now to make it look really nice, we're gonna finish it off with the Reggiano and the micros.
I tend to like a little bit more cheese, but obviously,
I'm with you
that's
on
a personal
that,
thing. And then a little bit of micro basil.
So voila, we have a beautiful restaurant-worthy dish, without a doubt. Where else can you go to work and have an amazing vegetable pasta dish like this?
How is that, Chef?
Really good. Feels like you're eating something nutritious. You're eating it and you're tasting the vegetables. Just the texture of those noodles and the flavor of them, it's really nice. So we're in the Panorama Cafe here at Google's campus. I'm with Dave. Dave is a Google employee. How long have you been here?
Almost 13 years.
13?
I still like a little uncomfortable saying it. Yeah, I started in 2006.
That's insane. And what is it like being a Google employee and having access to all this food?
The food is always been like a really great part about working here.
Yeah.
A lot of days I have 7 minutes for lunch.
Right,
I think my
right.
worst lunch day ever is like 3 minutes.
Wow.
And getting a real healthy meal at the in the middle of that has been kind of nice.
What's for lunch today, and where do you usually eat?
My team kind of makes fun of me because they know we eat at Season Cafe every day.
Okay.
Here, we have no line today. This is great.
Excellent.
When I started Google, I gained some weight.
Did you?
It's all gone now. In New York, I actually like.
You walk it off.
You walk it off, and like we're on the 14th floor, so there's a lot of stairs to go up.
So is that a thing? Like when you first started Google, is there like a freshman 15? You know that everyone gains a little weight because there's a lot of food around.
If you like go to a store or something, you're like, oh, there's food everywhere, and I'm gonna pay for some of it.
Right.
And here, you're just kind of like walk down the hallway, and it's there. I've done pretty good. I have it, I got
You
back
look
in
great.
shape.
You look great, Dave.
Thank you.
Is there any negatives to that?
For me, no. There's always food all the time,
Yeah.
and I feel like if I wanted to, I could just eat cookies all day.
Right.
And the reality is that's actually like why I like the plated meals, good and tasty and different all the time. How's the souvlaki? I've been talking to him, I haven't been eating.
It's delicious. I mean, I couldn't stare at it anymore while we were
know.
talking. I'm like, I gotta take a bite.
I have this problem when I'm at work. I can work or eat. I have a lot of trouble doing both at once.
So one of the pride and joys of this cafe is Sushi Station. It sounds to me like it's one of the most popular stations here.
It's definitely a popular one, yes. Excuse me, Frank, I want to introduce you to our chef.
Chef Mike, thank you so
nice
much
to
for
meet you.
having us
Yes.
here. I appreciate that.
Sure, yes.
This is a ridiculous amount of sushi, by the way.
Yeah, and this is just, we're just starting up with, early lunch, and every single day we have 2 options that change daily. Today we're doing a mango avocado roll, and then we're doing a mac roll. We have a team of 6 sushi chefs that just, work nonstop.
One thing that immediately struck me is just Chef Mike is moving at an insanely fast pace. He's rolling rolls. Once the sushi roll is rolled up, he gets the chef knife in his hand and just kind of cuts through them really quick, remolds them, and then next thing you know, you have a tray like this. Hundreds and hundreds of pieces of sushi. I'm gonna jump in there next, but after watching Chef Mike, I'm getting a little intimidated.
And there you go. He makes it look easy, right?
He does make it look easy, and I've been caught in this situation before, all right? I'm gonna first start with
with the nori paper.
Put the nori paper down, and then we're gonna start and kind of push the rice down, right?
Before you push down, you're gonna want to go across first.
Gotcha, so we're gonna kind of...
First, so you can evenly spread the rice.
This is some really high quality sushi rice. I can
Look at you, you're a
feel
natural.
it.
Not only do you do pizza, but you do sushi very well. Look
You
at
know,
that.
how am I looking over here, Chef Mike?
Beautiful.
Beautiful?
Yes.
All right, great.
Better than my first time.
Oh man.
So now
Avocados next?
No, now we're gonna add a little bit of the pump paste.
A little bit of pump paste, and this kind of gets evenly spread as well.
Yeah, just right in the middle.
Try to get it all to the edge, so like you said, the ratio is kind of all in there. Great. Now to the avocado,
Now the avocado,
and now to the mango.
now the mango. So we need the king size roll here, right?
Oh, going extra big, Italian style.
Good, I think you're ready to roll.
I promise I have no practice rolling sushi. When I was watching Chef Mike, he kind of just molded it down and kind of stuffed in the sides, put a little pressure on it to make sure that it was molded well. Then he kind of stuffed it in on each side here.
That looks great. Normally you would want to cut it right in the middle and then put them together so you can get 2 slices at one time.
Ah! I lost a little at the end, Chef, huh? I'm trying my best. You know, these pieces, maybe they don't look so pretty. Would you put these to the side, or would you try to just fix them up and include them in?
Maybe you can use maki soup. Refold it again, maybe.
Oh, perfect. Get that look that we're looking for that will help mold it and make it look presentable.
There you go, look at that.
All right.
Bring it this way, right? Because you want to see all the beauty of the sushi and maybe
Absolutely.
present it like that.
I got a fallen soldier, but I think beautiful.
Just for garnish, yeah.
Garnish right on top.
Look at that.
Wow.
I think for the first time you've done a sushi roll, just like Sushi Mike said, it's probably better than the first time I did it. So.
You guys are being nice to me now. I know that, but I appreciate the compliment. You know, it looks pretty good to me. I give myself maybe like a 5 or 6 out of 10, but I think with a little bit of practice, I can definitely lift that score. This is the one that I made. Some of these pieces are like a little bit thicker. This is the one that Chef Mike made. It's pretty much perfect. The ratio looks great. Let's see if I can tell a difference. It's all the same ingredients, and it's just like pizza. Ratio is so important. So the ratio that Chef Mike uses in this and the way that he crafts his sushi is definitely a little bit different than the way that I did it. Mike, I just wanted to say thank you one more time. I really appreciate you showing me the ropes.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks, brother. I'll do a little quinoa with some of the Arctic char, please. I mean, you could really eat really well here,
you
huh?
can eat really well. Globally, there are 280 cafes in our system. That's 1,300 micro kitchens. Those are like our coffee pantries.
Right.
We are serving like 278,000 meals a day. So that's a big responsibility.
And are you guys using the same techniques that you use to build the company Google? For instance, the data.
One of our main focuses is around sustainability. How does that data help us program better and be more mindful and intentional with our menus? And then weighing our waste. So that's where we're also using technology to get data where we can see what we mostly have. Is there a lot of cauliflower stems?
Right.
Does that turn into cauliflower rice?
Right. And things like the design and the setup. One thing I noticed was that as soon as you walk in, the greens are right there. Like the
Yeah.
first thing you pass are the salads. Is that designed on purpose? Is
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do we encourage a plant-forward diet? We did a lot of work with the Yale School of Management a couple years ago around choice architecture and behavioral sciences to nudge folks towards better choices for themselves.
Right.
And so that's why we put the greens front and center, the salads front and center.
I haven't really seen any Coca-Cola cans around. I haven't really seen bowls of M&Ms like I've seen at other companies.
They're around and they're there. We believe in choice. We do use behavioral sciences and we place them in the refrigerators so that hopefully your line of sight is on more of those other choices.
Right. And as a restaurant owner, I know what it
Yeah.
takes to kind of like, run a kitchen, pay employees, order food like this. Just the sheer amount of money that must be spent alone on the food program.
It's an investment. We call it food care, caring for those whom you feed and caring for those who feed you.
So just finishing up the day here at the Google New York City campus, sitting on the terrace overlooking the skyline, and I really got a taste today for what it's like for a company like Google that's super invested in feeding over 8,000 employees a day, over 20,000 meals a day in this campus alone. The amount of food that they're pumping out, it was eye-opening. It makes you think, how would the rest of the world operate if they had, these resources at their hands? But at the same time, it takes very deep pockets to be able to do that. And I don't know how realistic that is. I just hope that this is setting the standard for other companies to go out and do the same.